your ear? Wow. Crazy. Okay. Charlie, come. Come. Yes. Yes. Wait.
Good puppy.
Uh-oh. All right. Day 3. And he's already predicting what I'm going to say. So, it's awesome when dogs can predict what we want to say, but we also don't want them breaking a regular cue to do something we expected. And that's something for a little bit later in training. Right now, it's great when he expects what I want, but I also don't want him to get in the habit of offering it before I've asked. So one thing we'll practice later is doing the same thing 5 or 6 times. So asking him for it down, Yes. Break. And then asking him for a place and going back and forth doing it that way or from one place to another place. And when I walk over to the other one, what I don't want is for him to automatically hop off and get onto something different. So that'll be something we'll work on a little bit later. Break his snacks up into littler pieces. There we go. Ready? Sit. Good. So anytime you start a heal, you get to put yourself on his right. So he's on your right. There we go. So I step into him and then I can say heal. We're up to kind of doing an indirect lure where he doesn't have direct access to the snack. Yes. It's getting him to hop in front every once in a while. Yep. But that's okay. We'll work on that a little bit more when we have a leash. Good. Look at that. Right here. Yes. Break. So that's what that looks like as a correction right now. Is all I'm doing is I'm marking that, nope, that was not the right choice. Guiding him back, not giving him a reward for coming back, but finishing our set and then going from there. So from here, I can't start a heal because he's backwards. So sit, and then I get to position myself around him. Heal. Good. So, You're snappy today. Come here. Heal. Heal. He stopped a little early, so I'm not going to give him that one. Yes. Good. Break. And eventually he'll figure out that the snapping does not help him at all. Place. Yes. So eventually we're also going to be able to fade, giving him the treat right at the start and be able to wait a little bit longer. So, he's been testing his boundaries today now that we've started adding some distractions, and that's okay. Yes. We're at just the right spot in training where that's actually kind of what you want, where I want him to figure out what's not working for him. Good. Yes. Beautiful. So the trick to this is a couple-fold. One, if he keeps making the same mistake, yes, again and again, sometimes that means what you're working on is too difficult. Other times it's too difficult in the moment, like your dog needs 5 or 10 extra minutes of running around, doing something else. They need to break because you've worked on the exact same thing so many times in a row. Good boy. Yes. In this case, he's got a little bit of energy, but I've had him out for about 2 hours working off and on in the room and a little bit outside. Break. And we just had a break for about 30 minutes or so. So he should be pretty darn solid right now, because that whole time he was trying to mess with a bunch of different things and he never stopped moving. He never napped. So he's still got a fair bit of energy. So he's testing his boundaries a little bit, but he also probably is about in need of a nap. But all of that to say, if he keeps making the same mistake again, figure out what around him is different from usual. Sometimes it's a matter of doing the exact same thing again 20 minutes later and just trying again a different time. Down. Yes. Break. And sometimes it's a matter of making it easier for a couple reps, and sometimes it's just a matter of trying it a couple extra times. Place. Yes. Yes. See, that was a whole lot easier for him because he's a little bit more into the session now. Good. Yes. Break. Good job. Good job. One thing you'll notice with me moving when I say the word break, and I'm trying to break myself of the habit, so it's something I want to make sure you guys know as well, is I'm making sure the word is finalized before I start moving. So you notice I said break and then started taking some steps back to help guide him off of his cue to say, hey, you're done. So I always want to make sure that the word yes and the word break are singular. They predict things that are about to happen. They themselves are not an action is currently happening. So you want to make sure that nothing is currently happening. You staring at the doggies? Hi. So let's do the down again. This one I've still got a treat in my hand when I'm doing it so that it stays the same for now. Charlie, down. Yes. Break. Good. Charlie, down. Yes. Break. And that was actually my fault. So take a look at that first rep versus the second rep, what I'm doing with my voice versus the hand signal. One thing I myself have been working on is making the verbal its own separate movement. That way he hears the word, then he gets the motion. That way he can do commands on just a verbal and doesn't need a verbal and a hand signal every single time. Charlie. Down. He's sniffing my hand because he knows there's a snack there. Yes. Break. It was a little fast of a break for him, but you'll also notice if you watch it slowly, I waited till I said that word yes until his elbows were all the way on the ground. Want to make sure that a down is your elbows have to be touching the ground. Hi.